Welcome to my YouTube channel. I appreciate your patience, and I promise that I'm going to release a video today that we're going to be starting the installation of Visual Studio, SQL Server, and Microsoft SQL Management Studion. So we want to create our CBT web application that we initially started with Laravel, but we couldn't continue as a result of the startup code that wiped the whole of the route. And I just want to start this tutorial, but for the sake of people that are just coming in, I'm going to be brushing over the installation guide so that nobody will be left behind. It's quite simple, and I'm going to make it as simple as possible that people would enjoy it. And if you are new then to ASP.NET Core, you can easily hit the ground and start running. So ASP.NET Core is just an advanced, it's an upgraded version of ASP.NET. And one beautiful thing about ASP.NET is that it's cross-platform application. You can run it on virtually all the available platforms. You can run it on Windows, you can run it on Linux environment, you can run the Linux environment, you can run it in your Mac OS. So it's a way of bridging the gap and making sure that anybody that wants to work with it can easily pick it up and use it. And one beautiful thing about it is an open source, so anybody can pick it and use it. It's not something that you have a proprietary whatever on. So let's start. So the first thing to install is your Visual Studio. Visual Studio, let me just show you. My own Visual Studio has been installed. So if don't mind me, I'm just trying to make sure that you understand it. That's why I have to extract some images to show you the visual representation of it used to. So this is the Visual Studio after the installation. So after installation, you are going to see something like this. That's Visual Studio 2029. But I want to show you how you are going to get it installed on your system now. You can download the Visual Studio from Microsoft site. So all you have to do is to go to your Google, look for Visual Studio. Visual Studio is quite different from Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is open, and it's something that you can download and use free of charge. But Visual Studio is also not totally open, it's not open. But if you have your GitHub account, you can sign in and use it. There are options that can allow you to use it as a developer. For example, I signed with my GitHub account, and I'm able to use Visual Studio without any penalty. And you use it free of charge, and nobody's penalizing you. For work. Alternatively, you can download Visual Studio Code, which is also free. So it will also achieve the same thing. However, I must confess to you that Visual Studio Code, you have to configure this for it to work. You have to do some setup and install some plugins. But whereas Visual Studio comes on board with so many features, and it's already there. And the latest version now is 2022. So you can easily download. This is better and it's friendlier to use. You can finish your code here and migrate it to Visual Studio. It will still work. So Visual Studio Code, you can download it and use it for the same project. But just as I've said, there are some things that are not available yet on Visual Studio. So you just have to understand your code, like the IntelliSense. So it's not totally there yet when it comes to IntelliSense, and you have to, if you understand how to manipulate your plugins and make things available for us, so you can easily do it. But this has been doing fantastic work for me. So all you have to do is to download Visual Studio. So you can download for Windows. If you're using Windows, you can download for Mac. But Visual Studio is not available for Linux OS. So if you're using Linux OS, you might not be able to run it, but you can run Visual Studio on your Linux machine. So it's possible. I've used this on Linux and it worked perfectly. So consider what you are using, and if you're okay with it, then go ahead and install. So after the installation, after the downloading, the next thing to do is for you to click on the installer. So once you click on the installer pops up, then it takes you to this workload, and you start the installer. Then you can select, and this ID is also available for Python, Node.js, Azure deployment, and if you want to play around this environment. But I advise you because of the size, because if you look at this, the size is already climbing. So as you select, you start seeing the size of your application swelling. So you have to take note of size and be sure that you are not using too much space. So, and if you have enough space, you can install everything that you have here. So once this is done, you can click on install by downloading. This takes a while, depends on the speed of your internet and the laptop. So once it is downloaded, it's a straightforward thing and it goes. The next thing to install is the SQL Server. So you have to install the SQL Server. The SQL Server also can be downloaded from Microsoft. So just look for SQL Server and you download it. Just go to the site, and you download for developer. You can download developer's version of SQL Server. So once you click, to start downloading. So, but I don't need this. It's already on my system, so I can still click to see how it's going to be. But I already have it on the system. So all you do is to click yes, and once you click yes, and developer is already, but it won't install because I already have it on my system. So I'm going to show you how it's going to be. I tried to extract some image, although these are not the latest images that I was able to see, but it's something that will give you the guide of what you are trying to do. And it's a straightforward thing, nothing so special. So after the downloading, then it launches something like this. In the latest version, it's more, the number of icons that you see, it's more. So all you need is just to locate your installer, then you click on standalone installation. You click on standalone installation. Once you click, it takes you to the next. You just wait. Sometimes you can. This time I tell you that it's trying to update one or two things. You might wait or you skip those area. Just go to next, and after this is going to install. Then for the latest version, you might not see something like this. You might be seeing something like developer option or maybe the license option. So all you do is just to click next and go to your, this area is going to give you options for developers. So you install it as a developer so that you'll be able to use all the features that are available. So as a developer, you click and it's available. Then the next slide is going to be something like this, and you accept the license. Obviously, you have to accept the license to be able to proceed with your installation. If you are not accepting the license, that means you are not interested in the software. So the next area is here, and you have to select as many as you'll be needing. You have to be careful here so that you don't over select what you don't need. So just select, and if it's giving you issues, you might need to deselect some. So select, basically you can select some, and towards the end you might not bother to select some things that you don't need. So look at the features and see what you need, then you do the selection. Then the next frame is going to be something like this. Then all you need is to do on and on. Then here it's also another area that is very important. You have to specify the name, or you leave it as a default. the MS SQL generates this name as the instance of your DB, that is the DB engine. So this name is very important because when you are trying to connect your database, you might need a name, a reference name for your DB. So you might leave it as a default name so that that will not create a problem. You're trying to memorize something. So the next thing is once you leave this as a default, most of the time I leave this as a default, then the next thing is to prepare you for you to set account password. So it's not here. The next frame is going to tell you, prompt you to set the password. So here you select the mix mode. So in the mix mode is to allow you to set the password specify the password for the SQL Server System Administration SA. So SA is going to be the username for password, except you otherwise change it. So this is going to be the username. Then once you check the mix mode SQL Server authentication and with authentication, then it's going to enable the enter password and confirm password for you. So once you have that, then you enter it, then you click on add. Look at the add current user add. So once you add, it's going to be added in that frame. Make sure you add before you proceed so that there won't be error and there won't be conflict. So once you click on add, the next thing is to proceed to the next slide. And others are just to continue and you are done with the installation. So SQL Server is already on your system. The last thing to do is to install your MySQL, the SQL Server Management Studio, which is what I'm launching here. This is Server Management Studio. So to install that, you still go back to Microsoft. You look for SQL Server Management Studio. So you can just click and see Server Management Studio. So all you do is to come here, click on, come here, this for SQL Server. And SQL Management Studio is for you to manage your SQL. So you click on this, then it will be downloaded. And after the downloading, then you click on the installer. And once the installer is clicked, let me show you. I'm going to add these. So it's going to give you a kind of platform like this. So this platform is like the basic, you click on the basic installation so that there won't be too much complexity. Just go to your basic and to tell you the directory where you want to install. And often click on the installation, and this will take a while and you will be done with your installation. So that's it. That's how to install the three components, that's the essential component that we need for our ASP.NET Core. So after the installation, you might need to come here and look for your Microsoft SQL. You can just search for SQL. So once you search for SQL, to list this, this is your Management Studio. So once I click, so this will come up. So we're going to have Management Studio. So I'm open two instances. So let me close one and close one. So this is the new one that I just launched. But let me start again so that you understand better. So I've installed three components. One is this. Let me close it and we'll launch it again. Visual Studio. So there is Visual Studio 2022, this 2029. So I've launched this. Also, this one might not be available for the new installer. So all you do is to look for SQL Management Studio, then this is it. So you just click and it will be available. So with that, I can connect to the instance of my database. So when you are launching it for the first time, everywhere is likely to be blank. So if here is blank, all you do is to come to the browse. So you browse, then you look for the database engine, whatever that is listed there. So you see your database name and you connect to it. So once it is connected, you have this name among the list. You might have it among the list, then you connect to it. So the database is going to be here. So if you have the list of database, you can also have it there. So automatically, I can connect. I can connect to it, and so if I have any database existing, there's no database here. I can create database if I so want. So I can say, okay, test my test. Let me do small test. So as I say test DB, I can just okay. So my test DB has been created. So this is the database. So I can use this DB in my application. So there's no table yet in the DB. So this is my DB. It's quite easy to use and it's friendly. You can run SQL if you want to run any SQL query. If you have a query that you want to run, you can just write it here. You want to create table, you can do anything manually if you so want to. So that's it. Another thing that I want us to see is this. So it's because I have some app that I've run on this Visual Studio. That's why it's not it's showing some list of one or two things. So, but if there are no app, then I can easily click on the create new project. I can clone from repository. If I want to clone from maybe a personal repository, just go to your GitHub and paste the link here, then where you want the app to be. So automatically your application stores all the generated projects in this source. So you can see that source here. That source is in if you check this directory, if you check this direction inside my user, I just want you to see my source. So inside there you have the repo. So these are the applications that I have in my repo. So if I'm generating anything that's going to be by default, it will come to the repo directory. So I'm not using Git. I'm starting my application. So I'm going to create a new project. So it's quite easy and straightforward. So once you create a new project, there are a list of projects that you can create. You can create a console application. You can create a console. Sorry, I have to relaunch this. So you can create a console application. You can create C#. You can create MVC, ASP.NET MVC. So I'm going to click on this, create. So it's an MVC application. Let's call it test CBT. Let's see. That conversion is better. So, sorry. Sorry. It should be the name, not what I just. Let me just look for ASP.NET. So I'm looking for MVC. So then, sorry, I have to launch this guy. So create a new project. So I don't know why it's going to be. So MVC, let's call. So MVC. So I'm creating this project. So the name is going to be CBT So you can click next. You can select your 5.0, which is the latest. That's the version of the .NET that I will be using when you create. So just wait for it, let it create. Boilerplate code that will be created for you. So this is your new application. It's ready. So you can check your Solution Explorer and see. So there are already available model, view, controller, the web, the root directory, property, dependencies, and the app.json and the program file and the startup. So all these things will be seen now. We'll be playing around them in the next chat. But the last thing I'll be doing is to run this application. So for you to run the application, it's quite easy. You can come here, run the application without debugging or debugging. So let me just run this. And once you run it, the application will automatically come up on the browser. So because there are codes that are run that are already written in the browser just for you to test to be sure that you are doing the right thing. So the application will run on a port. Okay, let me start it here. Just wait for it because it's the first time I've run this. It may take some little time. So while we are waiting for application to run, let's see what is actually displaying. We have our home page. We have our index.php. We're going to be having something like this. And we have our controller, the home controller. So this is the controller. So we have the controller already written. It's quite easy, although you might not understand some things yet, but I'm telling you this is easy. Something I've used over time to handle some application. So I think this guy is still trying to upload some things. I'm trying to update some things. Let me quickly do this update. Sorry, I'm using this application for the first time on this system. I've been using another system before now. So, maybe we should just pause the recording and come back later. Okay, so we're back. So the update is done. We're starting our debugging. Our running starts without debugging. So let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. I hope we're done. You know why this is showing again. Okay. But that doesn't stop our own code from running. So the application is up. However, the system is still updating some stuff because I just installed this guys here, and this is the first time I'll be running this on this system. The other ones were pulled from the repo, so that's why it seems not to be running. So the application is up and running, and you can see it. There's no issue. If there are issues, it will flag it here. So there's no issue. If you want to just come here and run, and the output will show here. So far, we've been able to install our application. and we've been able to set up our work. So in the next tutorial, we're going to be seeing how this thing we can proceed to further development, application, and hopefully by then we're going to set up some rules and install some set up users and how users have been set up. The users role and some other things. Is what we call identity. We'll be making use of the C# terminologies. And it's quite easy and simple. You can try it out, and if there are errors or any difficulties, you can drop it in the comments below. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This will encourage me to do more videos. Thank you very much for watching.